In this story, Shuka explains to King Parikshit the process of preparing for death through the practice of Dharana. When death draws near, man should cast off his fear of death. With the sword of renunciation, he should sever all ties which bind him to his wife, children, and other worldly objects. He should leave his house, and having bathed in the holy waters, he should sit down for meditation. I will describe the technique for meditation. Steady the mind with the help of pranayama. Repeat the mystic word Om. When the mind is controlled by you, it should then be made steadfast. The intellect should be the charioteer, which should hold the reins and steer the mind towards contemplation on the Lord. The mind should not be allowed to stray towards the objects of the senses. The Ashtanga Yoga is the preliminary yoga for concentrating on the form of the Lord. This yoga is made up of 8 qualities which should be part of you. Ahimsa, not hurting anyone or anything. Satyam, truthfulness. Asthayam, not stealing what belongs to another. Brahmacharya, withdrawal of the senses. Aparigraham, not receiving gifts from anyone. Shaucham, inner and outer cleanliness. Tapas, penance. And Svadhyaya, study of the scriptures, understanding all that you have learnt. These 8 are the requisites for the next step. This is called Dharana, which leads to Dhyana. With a steady mind, you should visualize the form of the Lord. The mind should be pervaded by His form and by nothing else. Once this is achieved, tamasic nature will no longer delude man, nor will rajasic nature try to ensnare him in worldly things. Once you have mastered the correct posture and correct breathing according to the rules of pranayama, once you have broken away from the bondage and the snare of the senses, then you will be in a position to do dharana, holding the form of the Lord firmly in the mind. Think on the Virata Purusha. This form comprises the past, the present, and the future. All the actions which have taken place, which are happening, and which are to happen hereafter, are all comprised by the Virata Purusha. This Virata Purusha is enveloped by the 7 avaranas. Prithvi, the earth. Apu, water. Tejas, fire. Vayu, air. Akasha, ether. Ahamatva and Mahatatva. This Virata Purusha has the Patala as the soles of his feet, Rasatala as his feet, Mahatala as his heels, Sutola as his knees, Vitala and Sthala as his thighs, Bhutala as his waist. The sky is his stomach. Suvarloka, which is all light, is his chest. Maharloka is neck, and Jana, his face. Tapoloka is his forehead, and Satyaloka comprises his many hands. The Devas led by Indra form his hands. The 4 quarters are his ears. The Ashwins are his nostrils, fire is his mouth, and the sun his eyes. Day and night are the eyelashes of the Virata Purusha. Water forms his palate, and the sense of taste forms his tongue. The Vedas are his head, and Yama his teeth. Maya is his smile. Creation the glance from his eyes. The sea forms his stomach, and the mountains are his bones. The rivers are the veins in his body, and the trees the hair covering him. Time is his stride, air his breath, and the world with its myriad qualities his sport. The clouds are his looks, and the evening his clothing. The Avyakta, the unmanifested, is his heart, and the moon is his mind, while Rudra is his ego. Swayambhu Manu is his intellect. The Gandharvas, Charanas, and the Apsaras are the musical notes and the Smritis. These are the words from the Vedas which describe the Virata Purusha. Concentrate on this form of the Lord. Those who have mastered this should then invoke the form of the Lord and see it in their hearts. They see the form of Narayana lying on the immense snake called Ananta. When the mind is stilled and hushed by concentration, man can see this form in his mind. After this is achieved, life leaves the body easily and reaches the Lord. Before this last stage, Dharana, man should spend all his time in listening the stories of the Lord. Man's ears will be just holes in his head if he does not use them to drink in the praises of Narayana. As for his tongue, if it does not sing the glories of Narayana, it is no different from the tongue of a frog which croaks during the rainy season. The head is but a burden if it does not bend at the feet of Narayana. The hands, beautiful with many jeweled bracelets and perfumed with sandal paste, will still be just the arms of a corpse if they do not worship Narayana with flowers. The eyes which do not drink in the beauty of his image are like the eyes on the plumage of the peacock. The feet which do not travel to holy spots are like the roots of a tree. When he does not take the dust of the feet of holy men and wear it on his head, man is in no way better than a corpse. If his body does not thrill when he hears the stories of the Lord, if his eyes do not grow dim with tears, then his heart is indeed made of stone. Unfortunate is the man who is made that way. Even such a man finds salvation if, at the end of his life, he thinks of Narayana and his stories. And so, Parikshit, I will relate to you the entire Bhagavata Purana during these 7 days, and you can rest assured that because of you, mankind will benefit in the days to come. Shuka invoked the Lord Narayana in his mind. He then saluted Vyasa, his father, who was the author of the poem. He then began to recite the great Purana. Essence of the teachings. The story emphasizes detachment from worldly desires, focusing the mind on the divine, and preparing for death with grace. By meditating on the universal form of the Lord and engaging in continuous devotion, even the ordinary man can find salvation. It teaches that death is not to be feared but approached as a spiritual journey, with the ultimate aim of reuniting with the divine. Through Parikshit's example, mankind is shown the path of salvation, and Shuka's recitation of the Bhagavata Purana serves as a guide for all.